Hi, I'm Christina, and today we have a great live stream to get to. In the meantime, for everybody that's coming on, everyone that comes on afterwards, want to remind you, make sure you hit the notifications if you need to subscribe. Also, hit like while you're here. Definitely comment. Love that. And share the videos. That helps me out a whole lot. It's Sunday. Well, today it is. Whenever you watch it, I don't know. But it was Passover weekend for us. All right. Got 3 people coming on. That's good. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and get right into this because prophecy is unfolding in front of us, isn't it? And wars and rumors of wars are happening. And it seems like it's starting to match up with some prophecies that we've actually seen, not just from the Bible, but from people that have had words from the Lord recently, like say the last 20, 40 years recent, that talked about these days coming up, right? So we're going to review all of that. Hello, Susie. So good to see you. Good to see everybody that's here. All right. Always so good. Okay. So we're just going to start talking about, it's not just that we're having wars, but want to talk about how America is kind of mixing into all of this right now, because we've talked about how America is starting to look in my previous videos. And because America has gone woke and decided to tear this country apart with fanatical idealism, the sad part is that it's so narcissistic that many Americans are blind to how other countries view our country now. That's important, how they view us. Not just how we stay in our own bubble, right? And this is very important. I'm not trying to come down hard on anybody. I'm saying we need to be aware of this. All right. And it is, if we can't control everybody, but don't let me get ahead. All right. Instead of paying attention to what other countries are doing to prepare their military for war, possibly against us. So we're watching too much. We're not paying attention to what's really going on. Americans are worried that ordinary citizens are being too hard on a man who could be anyone's grandpa and woke politics. Our tunnel vision is so bad that headlines constantly appear like Senator Tim Scott blasting Democrats over use of the word racist to describe opponents' politics. Meanwhile, critical chess pieces worldwide are moving in opposition to the U.S. All right, so instead of recognizing these things, there are those who want to ignore the fact that the other countries are watching. They're not playing these woke politics. They see an easy target. Other leaders around the world with more wherewithal now have the upper hand. No one is going to shame them for what they think about how the U.S. looks, because they are their own entity. America doesn't run everything, even though we think we do. We can't control the agenda of other nations the way politics is trying to control Americans, which is why the U.S. is going to be blindsided with major consequences over and over again until we wake up. Consequences militarily, politically, economically, and even prophetically are coming our way. Prophetically, as in wars and rumors of wars. So right now, in that whole subject there about wars, rumors of war, China is ramping up around Taiwan and docking ships in the Philippines. There's actually an article that came out by the Diplomat News titled Rumors of Wars in the Taiwan Strait. China also docked 183 ships in front of the Philippines without their permission and claims that they're just fishing vessels, but the Philippines believe they are militias on these ships. And when you look at how they're tied up, it looks militarily strategic to me. I don't usually see fishing boats tying up like that in formation. Russia is doing drill after drill and going hard after the Ukraine. Iran is building up their missile supply stock. Australia even has decided to up their defense system and measures. Why? Because they don't think they can depend on the U.S. and have concerns about potential attacks from China. Some believe that the stuck cargo ship in the Suez is a strategic military move to keep the U.S. military from entering through there. And I've heard a lot of different reasons why that ship could have been there, the wind, somebody was drinking. But there was one that thought, well, half of it's really kind of in the middle of the line there. And I know they're working hard to get it out, but military trade has come to, not military, world trade has kind of come to a standstill for now. And it's very, very bad. Hello, Tony from New York. Good to see you. Thank you for the thumbs up, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. All right. Now, last night I watched Paul and Adrian in the middle of the night from Off Grid Desert Farming. They did a live stream on a $400 billion deal between Iran and China, blessed by Russia and Turkey, that will change the balance of power in the world away from the U.S. by bypassing U.S. sanctions and the U.S. dollar. Did you understand that? They're going to change how they pay for a lot of things, but it's going to cripple the dollar. But the effect that we'll see for sure will be on America's oil industry, because they found a way to get cheaper oil and a way to get away from the US dollar, which is why they're not going to have to worry about the sanctions, but it will cripple our economy. This will affect America's oil industry, which could hit us very hard, as well as our world position as a world superpower. So I did put a link for Paul's video in the description box, but think about this for a minute. I don't know if y'all remember, there was a guy named Shane Warren, bringing back up these people that, had also had visions, and his was a while ago, but we mentioned it last time too. But we were talking about it more of an economic kind of situation, that it was raining $100 bills. But he says the next part of the vision is that another tragedy hits America. An earthquake on the New Madrid caused entire cities to crumble. They have divided my land, now will divide their land. He saw silver began to drastically increase, not gold, riots breaking out. But what he said after that was, after I want my entitlements, that people were saying that, it said China and Russia wanted to change what currency they buy oil with. That just happened. That is happening right now. The agreement has been signed. And this is something that Shane Warren was talking about years ago. All right. I wrote down that Shane says that India, Indonesia, Turkey, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Syria, and Egypt would all get involved, and it would cripple the US dollar. He also said that you wouldn't be able to go to the government anymore, that you had to go to God for help, and that revival was taking place. Excuse me. That's very important. When you talk about something bad is about to happen, but it's going to bring us to our knees in a point, not just financially, but it's going to bring us crying out to God. And there's something very special about that we're going to talk about very, very soon. We're going to take a look at the comments real quick. Hello, Sunshine. Okay. It's because JB was doing oil deal to Russia flipped it on him. Okay. All right. So we're all cut up for now. Good. All right. So he talked about what Shane Warren said. Okay. Not everybody realizes, but I think more and more people have learned that there is a revival that happens in the last days. And even Shane is referring to this. You'll see referrals to it here and there. But you're going to see the light of men and women really shining bright during this time, especially because they're men, sons and daughters meant to prophecy, and men dreaming dreams in the last days. And these people, they're going to be shining that light. But there's more that's going to be going on, okay? Because God has a great plan. He said that he was going to do a a great, marvelous work, didn't he? I mean, y'all might remember that, okay? All right, so this is where things get really interesting, all right? First, I wanted to remind you that, previously we were talking about Revelation 6 and how Jesus had the scroll with 7 seals in his hand. It was a scroll, right? Okay, and it had 7 seals on it. But something interesting I want to show you in Isaiah 29. I think you're going to really like this. Okay? All right. In Isaiah 29, Ariel, they're talking about Ariel, but that means Jerusalem. That's how they interpret it, Ariel. Okay? And how things aren't going so great, really. All right? We're going to skip to verse 5 and read for a little while, just a little while. Moreover, the multitude of thy strangers shall be like small dust, saying how God's going to make anybody that tries to kind of really invade and do things that they're going to be as the dust. He's going to defend them, which we know he will. And the multitude of the terrible ones shall be as chaff that passes away. Yea, it shall be at an instant suddenly. Thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest and the flame of devouring fire. And the multitude of all the nations that fight against Ariel, even all that fight against her and her munition, and that distress her, shall be as a dream of a night vision. It shall be even as when a hungry man dreams, and behold, he eats, but he awakes, and his soul is empty. Or as when a thirsty man dreams, and behold, he drinks, but he awakes, and behold, he is faint. We're going to skip down. Yes, to verse 10. For the Lord hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and hath closed your eyes, the prophets and your rulers, the seers has he covered. And he's talking about when it comes to Israel, Jerusalem. But then he starts talking about a vision. And the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed. A sealed book. And this book, we had the 7 seals scroll in heaven. But the Bible is saying that there's going to be a book, a sealed book on earth that looks like, if I remember, because I remember being told about this, there was a book that was supposed to come out of Jerusalem. And I think this is the chapter that they were talking about when I was growing up. Hello, Sherry, Patricia, Christy. Good to see you guys. So if Jesus has the 7 seals, right? The scroll, then we end up with a sealed book on earth that people can read. Then that indicates as above, so below. That somehow there's a transition from what's happening in heaven to it manifesting on earth. And the way that that happens, when it comes to, okay, a sealed book, all right, sealed things, there's only one person, and one type of person in all the world that reveals hidden things in books that are hidden by God, that are revealed by God, and that's a seer. They're otherwise known as messengers. Okay. And so we've got this sealed book, that's the 7 seals of the apocalypse, right? Which means things are getting revealed. And it's talking about this book. Now listen up. And the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I cannot, for it is sealed. And the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he says, I am not learned. Wherefore the Lord says, for as much as this people draw near me with their mouth and with their lips to honor me, but have removed their heart far from me, and their fear toward me is taught by the precept of men. Therefore, behold, I will proceed to do a marvelous work among this people, even a marvelous work and a wonder. For the wisdom of their wise men shall perish, and the understanding of their prudent men shall be hid. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark. And they say, who seeth us and who knoweth us? We're going to skip down for just a little while, see if there's anything else. Okay. At the very last verse 24, it says, they also that erred in spirit shall come to understanding, and they that murmured shall learn doctrine. Now, if we've got a book coming out of Jerusalem, maybe there's some more evidence in the Bible, right? And it turned out that Revelation 10 talked about a book, but Jeremiah did, Ezekiel did, and even Daniel was told to seal certain things up until the last days. Okay? Seal up, which means that everybody seemed to have, that was supposed to eat the book, they each had a piece of it. But together there was a story in the pages of prophecy, and that's where the book comes from. It's not something I made up. This is what I was taught. I hope I'm making some kind of sense. And some people thought that the book might be John's revelation, but it was there was other prophets that were told to eat the book too, and that meant they were all talking about the book in their own chapter, not that they had written it, because it was sealed to the last days. And those books in the Bible were written a very long time ago. See, it wasn't for their time, it was for the last day, something that was supposed to wait until then, that nobody, not even really the prophets of before, could give the whole story. Somebody closer to our time would have to, a seer. And if Jesus is popping those seals, then it would be natural, according to this, that the book is on earth too. We're just waiting for it to come out of Jerusalem. When you talk about revival, the possibility of that, and how things might be going on, that you'll be seeing women that prophesy, children that are saying things, what comes out of the mouths of babe, old men having dreams. But people are there's gonna be a burning fire. I really believe that there's gonna be something special, a marvelous work kind of special given to the people in the last days, a great hope, and like a solved mystery, and that will show that God is still on his throne. Do we have any thoughts on that? I'm sure that all of you are all taking this in. Hello, Doc. Hello, Christy B and Christy Betts. It's good to see all of you. So there is a book. There is a book. And if you want to just talk about it just a little bit longer, we can go to Revelation 10. It talks about it. There are so many references in the Bible about one of the prophets, different prophets that had a book. They couldn't tell about it, what was inside of it, but they had to eat it. It was sweet in the mouth, like honey, but bitter in the stomach, right? Revelation 10 verse 2, and he had in his hand a little book open, and he set his right foot upon the sea and his left foot on the earth. Verse 4, and when the seven thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write, and I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, seal up those things which the seven thunders uttered, and write them not. And the angel lifted up his hand. So there was something that needs to be known, but he wasn't allowed to say it. He wasn't allowed to write it, but he could write about this situation that happened. Okay, verse 8, and the voice which I heard from heaven spake unto me again and said, go and take the little book which is open in the hand of the angel which stands upon the sea and upon the earth. And I went unto the angel and said unto him, give me the little book. And he said unto me, take it and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey. So whatever he ate, he couldn't tell you what it was. He could just tell you that there was. And if you look, there are other prophets in the Bible that did that. And I'll tell you again, it's Ezekiel and Daniel 12. He was also told not to write about something. In there is also mentioned the seven thunders uttering, if I'm not mistaken. Hello, Paula. Oh gosh, I guess I'm not having a very long live stream tonight. I just really want everybody to be aware that this deal that Paul and Adrian were talking about last night, that's a big deal. the fact that America isn't looking so strong right now, and they know it. It's not just how we look. There are certain things that are weak that they could easily take us. And there have been models that show that. In the meantime, we can be thankful that we had a beautiful Passover weekend. We can continue to pray. We've got an early hurricane season about to hit us that we have to be prepared for, our next disasters. And who knows? Just like these guys have been saying, something may be coming for the Gulf of Mexico, the Gulf Coast. Some things may be coming. They should be. All right. And I just want y'all to be prepared, not just for the hard things, but to know that some great, marvelous things are coming too. And that there's hope, that there's secrets that are going to be revealed. You're welcome, everybody. You're welcome. All right. I'm going to go ahead and cut this short. And I just want to thank everyone for coming and for everything that you do for me. I want to just bless you. Have God bless you in Jesus' name. And I will see you next time. Right? Bye.